Hi, intrepid viewers. Dr. Lena Rodriguez coming to you from tomorrow. Okay, before I get into this bigger reading, there's two corrections from my last video. I don't know why I always think of Fani Willis as the Attorney General of Georgia. No, she's Fulton County. But bless her and every breath she takes, because she is taking on these uglies. So go, girl. Love her. And maybe I keep thinking of her as Attorney General because before long she might be. You never know. The other correction is I was talking about the man who couldn't get a condom. I said Walmart's. It's apparently Walgreens. So Americans will know the difference. I still think, why not have a boycott of Walmart anyway? Because they're such bad employers, so never mind. Perhaps you have to boycott both. So we're going to move on with this. In other news, I couldn't believe this. A viewer sent me a message saying in Missouri, under law, you can't get divorced if you're pregnant. And I thought this was a new thing. And the viewer said, no, it already exists. And I looked it up online, and yes, you can't get a divorce if you're pregnant. I mean, I'm sure there's Taliban and ISIS leaders taking notes as they watch what unfolds in America. Really. So we're going to look at August, bound to be a hot one for obvious reasons and in every way. Let's have a look. USA in August. I'll do 3 cards for each week of August, +1. We'll see how that turns out. What's going to happen in August? It's generally a volatile month, particularly weather-wise. August. Now we have week 1, 2, week 3. Don't like week 3. Oh, although maybe, as she mutters on. Week 4. Now, what have we got here? In week 1, can you see these? I'll hold them up one by one, so don't sweat it too much. The first card of week 1 of August, a young person and money. What's this about? Could it be something about some benefit to young people about money might be announced? It might be a breakthrough, possibly with, what do you call it, with university debts and all of that. Might be something around that. Although many of you who are suffering from these outrageous debts, other countries don't do it like this. I'm here to point out America. They don't put interest upon interest upon interest for education. No. Anyway, some of you aren't spring chickens anymore and carrying this debt, but symbolically, I think that might be around that. There's other issues around money, and this would be rising inflation and gas prices. Are they going to continue to go down, etc.? I think it's the talk of the economy going on, but much of it behind closed doors with the High Priestess here. So this will be Dems strategizing what can they do to offset the worst of the economic decline, and it'll be the GOP strategizing how can we exploit this. Of course, it's not a Biden-induced problem. It's not an American problem. The world is going through massive inflation, biggest inflation in 40 years in Australia, the UK, everywhere else as well. But of course, you know, it'll be looked at as a Biden thing. But these things are being discussed behind closed doors. Now, week 2. This, I think, could be Biden again feeling a bit embattled. I'm not so worried about him later in the year, but at the moment, I think he would be feeling quite embattled. It could also be many people feeling this, particularly if they were associated closely with the White House and are now scooped up into the January 6th investigation. So I think it's more than one person. The offer someone doesn't want, I would say collectively too, this is people beginning to realise they're going to have to turn on the Yeti. They don't want to. No explaining that. But they're going to have to turn on him for their own salvation. Week 2 is lots of busy wands. Look at all those wands, right? These are incoming, all these things happening simultaneously, right? And, you know, just having a little rest between battles, but there's more coming. So there's massive movement. Week 3, when I first saw this card, it's never fun. And I thought, oh, week 3, no. But it was straight after, followed by the Yeti, King of Pentacles. I think week 3's when it might sink into the rusty neurons, just how big a deal. This could be 3 people stabbing him in the heart. You will no doubt ask, is the children? Possibly, but let's call it 3 sources. One might be the children, one might be the lawyers, one might be something else. You know, week 3 is not good for the Yeti. And along comes some surprise news. Okay. Now, week 4, a bit of a reprieve. I think it's going to start off hectic and get more hectic as it goes on. I'll look at climate in a second, promise. But week 4 is sort of a calmer energy to some extent. This, I think, tapping into Johnny's definition of the Knight of Cups as the false knight coming forward, this could be shuffles around GOP primaries and stuff. Oh, I digress. New viewers, this is a regular thing. The Republican National Committee have just broken the news to the Yeti that they're not going to pay his legal bills if he runs in 2024. Interesting. They've already paid nearly 2 million. I think it's 1.76 or something. And they said they're not going to pay his legal bills if he runs. So I think this is who controls the money, and this is the Mitch McConnells and the old guard. They don't want him, and this is one of the ways they're going to get him. So that's my digression. Anyway, week 4, the false knight. I think this could be someone running who is not going to be a viable contender or something like that. A false knight gains momentum, but probably not going to be there at the end. The crossroads, the end of August is a crossroads for the entire country. All right. So this card representing the good life, it's been a while since that's been available to the majority of people, has it not? So I thought, I wanted to clarify on that. And I got the Page of Swords. And this is young people. We began with young people, we're ending with young people with their swords raised, going, you are stopping us from having this. Apart from anything else, we'll be lucky to have a planet to live on, let alone job security, right? This is young people questioning this quality of life. Okay, So let's have a look at weather developments in August, shall we? So give me a minute to mix up these cards. Now, is Jenny Thomas going to be subpoenaed? I think it's getting closer. And there were positive mumblings from Garland to a news anchor that's suggesting they've actually been doing more than is obvious, which is good news. I think he is committed to doing the right thing, but because we're also battle-scarred after Mueller, even if Garland and the whole DOJ do their job, I mean, then what, you know? But that's a question for the next video, maybe. But it was fairly good news that Garland was saying they're on to it. So let's have a look at weather. Okay, it's there. All right, I'm going to pull some astrology cards here for each of these 4 cards and see what's happening. As Hogarth calls it, the astrological weather. We'll see what comes up. Caveat here, I'm not an astrologer, so I just depend on these cards. Now, oh, I forgot there was a second devil in this pack. Oh, how very interesting. Okay. So week 1, 5 of Cups, there is some degree of loss and it's water related. So this could be the lack of water in some parts of the country and too much water in the other. But this, when I picked up this card, I got the drought vibe. Scorpio. So Scorpio is ruled by water. So that's interesting too. So it's definitely about water. But the deep, Scorpios get a bad rap, you know, oh, it's all about sex and death and but in fact, they're the great healers and transformers. So deep Scorpio energy can be healing, and God knows it's needed. And so in terms of climate, I think that's the most concern early on in the week. Then there's a great deal of confusion. And here we have Uranus here, and Uranus is sudden dramatic changes, confusion and radical changes. So something radical, I think, is going to happen regarding weather events in week 2 of August. Week 3, the false night and the devil. What springs to my mind is people being reassured by the false night that things are uncontrolled, like the Texas grid's going to hold up, and it actually isn't, because the devil in this case would have to represent fossil fuels, neglect of infrastructure, all those things. Devil, and people are chained to the devil because of being chained to these badly maintained, out of date power grids. False night, I think there's going to be major power issues. Week 4, here we have my GOP card and fake happy families, and my Jason Momoa card, Aquaman. Okay, so week 4, I think there could actually be evacuations, family evacuations. Neptune ruled by the sea, and to rule it, I think I'd put my money on week 4, probably for a hurricane, although the Uranus in week 2 has all the qualities of something quick and dramatic like a hurricane. So weeks 2 and 4, I think, are quite volatile. Okay. Now, moving on from that, what I want to do here is a couple of questions, including, will Jenny Thomas be subpoenaed? And for those who ask, I don't think Bannon's going to get the full 2-year sentence. I'm going to say 6 months. Yeah, hopefully 6 months each, but yeah. Can you get back to me on that Missouri law, please, in the comments? Okay. Focus, Lena. Jenny Thomas. Is Jenny Thomas going to be subpoenaed? Digression viewers, did you see Clarence Thomas was going to take a teaching job at some university, and the students rebelled and they're not taking him on? No. Small bickies compared with what he's doing, but anyway, it's something. Jenny Thomas. She gets down, yeah, it's the Empress. I can't say yeah until I get to the last card. She gets all major arcana. Okay. Now, there are 78 cards in a tarot deck and only 22 are major arcana. So to pull 4 major arcana is saying this is a big story. People are weighing it up, you know, from one to the other. Yes, of course she should be subpoenaed. She was there. Oh, but she's the wife of. Oh, weighing it up. We pretend the law is equal, but it's not. Here she is as the Empress. The law has actually never been fair, and it certainly isn't now. And the sooner the majority of people wake up to the fact that the justice system is not for all, the better off we'll all be, because we can start from that point instead of pretending. So here she is as the Empress. Then she gets the Magician on top of that. That's what I think is personal power. She would be lobbying to her back teeth. She would have been on that phone for the last 2 months, night and day, calling in every connection, using everything at her own disposal to avoid this. Then her outcome card is the Sun. So does that mean, in light of all those, she's wealthy, she's connected, she's been lobbying on her own behalf, and the Sun, she's fine? Or is it the Sun in its role as throwing light and enlightening people about her role? So you see what I mean? The frustration with this last card, which means I have to pull a couple of clarifiers. So, and you've no idea how much I'd love to be wrong. If I get off this video and look up the news feed and Jenny Thomas has been subpoenaed, there's no one happier than me. Trust me on that. Okay, so happy to be wrong. However, these cards are going, Okay, clarifier, Jenny Thomas. Oh, they're upside down. Clarifier, Jenny Thomas, will she get a subpoena? Will she get a subpoena? Well, I think it'll come close, but no. Here we have the Rest in Peace card, and this is more celebratory. So to me, that means either she won't be, or she will be subpoenaed, but get away with saying nothing or something, and then coming out of the hearing celebrating. Ugh, hate that. I can't leave you on that reading, so we'll have to do another question. But like I said, I'd be thrilled to be wrong. Okay, so what have we got here? There's moves to try and limit the Supreme Court, which would be good from the point of view, putting term limits on, also buyouts, just paying them to go away, giving them retirement packages. Again, the public has to pay for all this. Anyway, they're not going anywhere for now, so I'm not worried about that for now. What about Liz Cheney? Plan B. I've read on her in collaborations recently. She's not, is she Wisconsin, I think, or Wyoming? I get the W's mixed up, as you know, from Walgreens and Walmart. Wherever she's from, I don't think she's expecting to win that. She might get a nice surprise and pull it off. So, talk is she may be thinking of running for president. Let's see, has that got any legs? Is Liz Cheney thinking of running for president? Liz Cheney. Liz Cheney. Will she run for president? Let's see. Wow. I think, look, she is thinking about it. She is thinking about it. These are all pentacles. So pentacles, apart from being money, are security and career. No. She's not impulsive. This is a slow burning plan. Piece by piece, she's feeling out what are the upsides, what are the downsides, putting the story together, doing the numbers, who would support her, because there's lots of backroom talk about this. Personally, I think, why would you do it to yourself? But she's going to have the same problem that Hillary had, even though Hillary technically won the popular vote, etc., etc. There were issues with likability around Hillary, and Liz Cheney comes with all of those. My biggest fear is someone's going to run with Nikki Haley as the vice president. And I hate it because I think she presents really well. I hate everything she thinks and says and does, but that's not the point. So let's hope they keep Nikki Haley out of the mix. Now, beloved possums, comments. I love your comments, so keep them rolling. And we're nearly at 30,000 subscribers, so thank you so much. It's a miracle. I don't know how that happened, and I love you for it. So, ciao for now. Bye.